Well, here we are with a really exciting and maybe controversial topic. How to have a wife and to date a girlfriend.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Actually, Tracy and I, since we've been together these last number of years, are very committed to dating, not only just being married.
Yep. Yep.
So we like to find ways to keep that fire burning, keep that relationship
Yeah.
in front of us. And that's a key word to us is relationship
Yes.
and happiness and that closeness to what marriages are about, right?
Yep. Yeah, it was really funny because you've often said this as you've taken me out on dates and things, and you'll say, "Yeah, I'm taking my girlfriend out for a date."
Right.
Right? And so on our 6-year anniversary, you did this little surprise and were
that was
taking me away for an overnight stay, and we were up at Bass Lake and I was out walking with a friend,
right.
and we came back and you were there and we were all talking, and she says, "So I hear you guys are going away for your anniversary."
Yeah, I leaked that out a little bit. I was so excited.
And what did you say?
I said, yeah, and I can't wait to take my girlfriend.
The look on her face was like,
Yeah, she was set back up
"What?"
for a second. It's like a new friend.
Yeah, she
Like,
was a new
okay.
friend. "Hello, Missy." And she was like, and she kind of looked at me like,
Trying to check it
"What?
out, trying to
What?
figure it
Wait a
out."
minute." And then we said, "Yep, when we go out, he takes his girlfriend."
Yep,
And that's me.
And hopefully boyfriend too, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
that's the other big
absolutely,
part of
yeah.
it for us.
And I think the premise behind that is that you kind of forget about hey, everybody, we love being married,
We do.
but
That is no
there's
doubt.
a lot of responsibility in life. And when you get married, you're adulting and you got the kids and the fray and the work and all the things, right? And so I think that's kind of our code for, hey, just forget about all the stuff
Yeah.
and let's just go and remember why we love each other
Yeah, and that,
and have fun.
and you saying code, we didn't really use that. But it's true. That's
Yeah.
something that since we've been married, we both come from different pasts and different things, and
Yeah.
was really forefront to us in our relationship of how people actually share those moments and
Yeah.
capture those moments, right? It's like stop with intention.
Right. And, hey, we're going to just put this out in the universe. Not our first rodeo.
Our first rodeo.
We are resorting to success. we
Till dirt, as
till
we
dirt
say.
now. I mean, but we learned a lot from our past, and we definitely have said, like, look, we want to put everything we have into this.
Right.
Right? And we have to remember that sometimes. Life is crazy. There's so many ups and downs that sometimes you really do have to focus on putting time and energy into your relationship.
And don't you think recently that's kind of been something even at our forefront, because with RLC and Resort Life at Carts is given us an opportunity to be busier, and then throw a podcast into it, and then do a few other things that we do, and
All
still
the
be
other
a
things.
parent and a bonus parent and all this and that. And so
Yeah.
you really have to stop and collect yourself, and everybody has a different love language, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has a different way they communicate those moments and those things, and that's important
Yeah.
to each themselves and also hopefully to the other person.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes hard to remember when you're in the
Well, I
fray. You're
know.
in the fray.
And I don't know about everybody else out there, but in our world, we have a very cyclical business, seasonal business. And so from March to October is crazy town.
Foot through the floor.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And so you're working 6 days a week. We're attending all these different events. And so really remembering to carve out time, it can be difficult.
Yeah.
So we just kind of want this show to be a reminder to people
Right.
that your relationship is important. It's like the most important thing out there. And, we wish we weren't resorting to success
Yeah. Wish it was from
in
the
this
original beginning.
area, but
for
we
sure.
are, and we have learned, and hopefully we can maybe inspire people. We have friends that have been married 25 and 30 years, and they are still in love, and
Some great examples in our circle.
great,
Yeah,
great
for sure.
examples.
And your parents,
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
great example. of that,
Yeah.
right?
I love that. My dad takes care of my mom takes care of my dad. They hold hands. They're very sweet together. And this is not about saying relationships are perfect.
No. It's hard. It can
Let's
be,
just
I
put
mean,
that out
everything's,
there.
well, it's all got its daily challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not about each other. And a lot of times it's more about
Yeah.
the fray, as we say.
Yeah.
But you look at what that looks like. I feel that there's some nuts and bolts to a relationship that
Yeah.
I didn't learn until recently more in the big world. The things that I felt like is important. One thing to me is being a gentleman.
Oh, I
You
love
know, I
that.
think there's a romantic step in that. I think
Yep.
that chivalry aspect of just opening a door for your wife
Yeah.
and going and getting her coffee every morning and have it on her
Yeah.
nightstand. To me, that's a
Yeah.
commitment to love and relationship,
Yeah.
and I love doing that. And not everybody can grasp that.
Right. Well, we are living in a weird world where some women also don't want that. So, but
Yeah,
I do. I love that. I love that.
why
But
wouldn't you?
but I also grew up, my dad when I started dating, my dad said if a guy doesn't open your door, then he's not the one. If he doesn't come to the door, you are not leaving the house. So I mean, growing up that way, like I feel like that was something that I really wanted and love.
And our world dynamic, like you said, has changed so much.
Yeah.
You know, the expectations changed, but I, at the same time, too, shouldn't. I think that could be reintroduced in any way.
Yeah.
I mean, it
I
is
think it's
something.
just a way to show that you care about that person.
Yeah,
Just I
yeah.
care enough to,
Take that extra step.
yeah, take that extra step.
Yeah.
And I think we all have to think about ways to take that extra step.
Well,
So,
and it's funny how for us, and especially for me, as I'll say the man in this scenario, is that other people around us recognize that I do it,
hmm
and women especially that don't
yeah,
have husbands that just literally walk 50 feet in front of them, whatever, or do whatever. It just completely changes the dynamic of the heart.
yeah,
And we see people talk about that in their relationship,
yeah.
which is really
There's a
unique.
tenderness. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And not everybody. I mean, these are free things you can do,
Oh,
right? This costs
yeah,
nothing.
right.
Okay, so obviously we'll get into things that are romantic and fun and wonderful
Yeah,
that cost money, but there are free things you can do too.
all day long.
One thing that you love that I do is leave little notes around,
Oh,
and
best ever.
you love that,
Yeah,
and that is like free. I mean, we post-it note in the drawer,
right.
and so I think it's just a matter of stopping to think about it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Romantic's heart is not always in everybody's soul, but the part about it is it's just consciously finding a step. It's amazing what those
Yeah,
results will create. It's just like you
yeah,
do with a child and hope to implant something for the future. It's the same way.
right.
And it's really something for me is that with you has become a blessing because those little sweet notes, when I've traveled or when I walk into my desk and sit down and there's a note tucked underneath my keyboard. And that's a conscious effort that's pretty amazing.
And not everyone has the same dynamic as us. We now work together every single day. We're
Well, we've worked
together,
together almost since our beginnings. Hang near.
yeah. So sometimes it can get hard to
Oh,
do
separating
that
church and
when
state, as they
you're,
say. Yeah.
yeah, when you're just together all the time,
Yeah.
right? I mean, my mom and I have talked about this before because even Christmas, birthdays,
Right.
like our world is so connected now. So here's a funny story, I think, so I was in New York when I was in the bridal business, and I had gone to Bridal Review to help with the new season of dresses. And as I was in the airport on the way home, I was like, we were on the phone,
Right.
and I said, I think I just need to get a protein bar or something for the airplane. I'll call you back in a few minutes. So I go and I get in line, and there's a woman and her daughter in front of me, and they have all these snacks, and they get up to the line, and I hear her say, "Oh, you don't take cash?" And the guy goes, "Nope.
Welcome to the new world.
Welcome, yeah, welcome to 2024 or whatever. It was probably 2023, but whatever." And she says, and he goes, "No, we don't take cash." And she goes, we were overseas and they were in Spain or whatever, and her credit card had gotten stolen. So they had to turn it off so that there wasn't fraud, right? So I'm thinking, this poor family, she's like, I have kids back there. We're trying to get snacks. And he's like, I'm sorry. So I'm standing right behind her. I just go, whatever it is, I'll buy it, right? And she goes, no, 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 you don't have to do that. And I said, it's fine. And so the time that you and I had been on the phone, the time is like 2 minutes now, right?
Right.
And then as soon as I get done and I'm walking back to my seat and I'm going to call you, you go, what did you buy? And I'm thinking,
Oh, here's a segue. Yeah, I see
our
where you're
world
going
is
with
so
this. Just like you work
connected,
with me. Yeah,
right? Our
yeah.
world is so connected that when there's a charge, like we're notified that there's a charge. Okay.
Well, we watch the pennies, right? That's the big
Well,
part
and
of it.
also you don't want there to be fraud. Like, what if,
Especially in travel, yeah.
So, so anyways, I'm like, he's like, what did you buy, for $50 or whatever it was? So I call you and I tell you the story and you're like, oh, okay, that's fine. But that's how connected we are. Like, how do I even buy you a birthday gift? How do I even buy you a Christmas gift? Like, you really have to
Work at
make
it.
an effort, right?
Yeah, work at it.
So
And it's tricky, right?
in our case, I have a credit card that I have had since I was like 16. Probably 18. It was my first, right. It's my first credit card. And I just have this little attachment to that card because it was my very first one. I don't even use it
Yeah.
ever now, except when I'm buying you a gift because you don't see it.
Stealthy.
Yeah, it's stealthy. So we have to figure out ways to do things so that we can surprise our spouse or whatever. So it's a challenge.
Yeah, and that there's a deeper line to that. Is literally taking that conscious effort. For me, I'm very memory oriented, and there's things that flash through me when I see something, hear a song,
Right.
and that's the old school romantic in me as a whole. But at the same time, you hear a song, send it to you, right? How many times
Yeah,
have I
yeah,
done that,
you
right?
do.
It's like, this just reminds me of you.
Yeah.
Those are things that can take a wipe 5 hours of a bad day out of that other person's head and
Yeah.
heart just for that moment. So
Yep.
and it's not. It's just intentional. It
Yeah.
is intentional, and sometimes that's just the fun of it.
But also we love to dance, right?
Yeah, man.
We love to dance.
Well, more her than me.
I love to
I'm a
dance.
bad dancer. She's a great dancer.
No, but so if I hear a song,
Yeah.
I'm gonna love
Starts
you
to wiggle.
forever by
Randy Travis.
I'm the worst at this is not
like, yeah.
it sounds like who is it? Anyways, when I hear that song, we have to dance.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. There's
I don't care if we're in the kitchen. I don't care if we're on the porch. I don't care if we're in the office. Like I have to.
Grocery stores. We've been some locations. Yeah, for sure.
So we were on the patio at Bass Lake and we were just visiting, chatting, having a glass of wine. Song comes on.
Yep.
Gotta dance.
Got to dance.
So
We pop up in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of the trees.
the porch and we're or the deck and we're dancing, right? Is there anyone else in the world at that moment? No. All of a sudden,
Turkeys and
from
squirrels.
across the street, we hear, "Get a room!" And it was our neighbor, and we're like, "Oh, sorry, not sorry."
Don't you love when you be that example? It's just open this right here. For us, is touching is a big part of it. We're touch people, so we are all constant in contact
Yeah.
with that. And I think that people that are not that way is fine, but
Yeah.
it's amazing if you stop and just reach out and touch someone, that person.
Yeah,
And even in whatever it's a quiet step, it's a quiet statement, really dynamic. How many times have people said, we've actually been places and the ladies say, it is so nice how you keep your hand on the back of your wife.
yeah,
Right? That was
Super sweet.
last year sometime.
Yeah.
It's a conscious unconscious, but it also really creates
Yeah.
it's a connection, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's got their different way they do it, and I think that's not
yeah.
all the same, but it's
We were visiting with a neighbor not long ago, and just talking about different things. And she's like, "Okay, please tell me, please don't tell me that you and Paul don't fight." And so I'm just putting this out into space.
we scrap. Not much, but when we
We
do, we
don't
scrap.
always agree.
No.
And
We're both hard-headed alphas.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
let's go.
yeah, yeah. So we do that.
Yeah.
So this is not about being perfect. This is
No, I think it's knowing when to
literally
back down too.
not
That's
about
the
that.
Other part. That's the other part is to give in, whatever the scenario is. That's a hard spot because we both like to win, and it's not necessarily a good point sometimes. But
So I just I'm throwing that out in the universe, not about being perfect.
No.
This is just like talking about things that we do or other people do to be able to keep, going in a great relationship and keep the spark alive. And so I, of course, had to run some statistics and things.
yes.
And so
the data person over here, which I thought I was a data person. But
Here I am,
Yeah, here
being
you
the
are.
data person. So, research shows that 83% of wives and 84% of husbands, funny that there's a 1% difference, who had regular date nights were very happy in their marriages.
I
Interesting.
would testify. I
Yeah.
would see, and we've had, even our sphere of friends, we've got people that will consciously say, oh, we're going to go do a date.
Yeah.
It's been 3 months or 6 months in some cases, but they're like, okay, we've actually, and don't wait. I think if anything,
Yeah.
and I think how many times, well, especially we're like just doing something like, okay, this is a date night, or this is us time. Like we put it out in space just
Right.
to remind ourselves to like,
And let's qualify for me, when you go out on a date, it means you're investing in the other person. It doesn't mean you're investing in your phone. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're investing in, whatever, all the distractions. Put it all away. Do not disturb, whatever it is, and invest in each other.
Yeah.
Okay. A date is not both people sitting there on their phone.
right.
That is not how you connect. So that's just me. But anyways, before we dive any deeper, we started last show with word association.
New tradition we're thinking is forming.
Okay. So I came up with some questions for you.
Oh, wait a minute. Me?
Not
boy.
questions, words. Words for you. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
So I'm going to say a word, and you're going to say the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay,
Okay. Happiness,
together.
wife,
Girlfriend,
affection,
the best.
sexy,
My wife.
dancing,
Fun.
friendship,
Important.
passion,
Needed.
vacation,
Must.
girlfriend,
The best again.
family.
Very important.
I don't know. It's just kind of fun to like see where your brain is and how
Yeah.
how that works. And I think that's a fun little exercise to do. Maybe you can come up with some words for me later. See how I rate.
Well, boy, I'm no good at ad-libbing, unfortunately, but let's see if maybe I can pull up.
No,
a
no,
couple.
not off the show later. Not on the show later. I know that one. You're not going to research that real quick and throw that out. But I mean, kind of fun to see where you
Yeah,
land on
yeah,
those things. Yeah. And so, according to research, it shows date night is important. So let's kind of go back to that and talk about dating your girlfriend, wife. Okay.
Okay.
Or dating your
Your
boyfriend,
significant other-
husband.
Significant other.
So there's some things that we do, and there's some things that I research that other people do that maybe we don't do. But what would you say are things that are important when dating your spouse?
Separation from your world, meaning really with intention separate from your world, because I think especially for us, our schedule is just
Yeah.
unbelievable, and we create our own fray, but at the same time it's what a best thing ever, right? I don't know if it's a sweet night at just a local restaurant and go out and a stroll someplace, or if it's lucky enough to do a vacation somewhere and
Yeah.
and spend that just us time, like
Yeah.
invest, hold hands, go have dinner, have coffee, go sightsee, just be
Right.
us. And that, to me, that is just the best.
And vacations are a little bit different than dating, although it's like a week of dating, which is amazing.
Well, we kind of look at that. So we call it honeymoon.
We call it honeymooning.
I mean, anytime we go someplace, even in our business travels, I mean,
Yeah, we used to do
it's
that.
like, we tell
Or-
people
yeah.
that every day. It's like, clock shut off. We're going to go honeymoon. We're going to go hang
Yeah.
out together and have fun and see things and
Yeah.
invest in each other, but also invest in what we see through each other's eyes. I love that.
And I think it's always important to have a vacation planned. So, when you
Have
have
that
young
goal.
kids, I mean, like we have often done a vacation with the kids and then a vacation with just us.
Yeah.
And now, the kids are getting older and they're, going all these different directions. It's much harder with the kids, but for us to have like something to look forward to. So you wrap up this vacation, and I've heard this advice before, like when you wrap up a vacation, plan your next vacation. That way you have something to look forward to be like, okay, whew, this life is busy. We are going in a million directions, all this stuff. Okay, but But in 2 months, I have this to look forward to, or in 6 months, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And my mom always says that probably my parents, they say there are three parts to a vacation. There are the planning,
Oh, yeah. That's
and they're so cute. They do this together. They go on all these trips, and they sit in front of the computer and they plan out where they're going to go, and they
right down to
talk
the
about
roads they
it.
drive on, which is
I
amazing.
love it.
Dad,
I love it.
Dad can tell you
Yeah.
he's going to take left at the right pole and this and that's because of the detail. It's amazing.
Although they are very much into, oh, hey, look at this exit. Let's go there. They have a motorhome, and
The great stories.
Yeah, and so-
the Chevy Chase version of travel
it's
sometimes.
awesome. Yeah, but so they say you have the planning,
Yep.
the actual vacation,
Yep.
and remembering the vacation.
Yeah.
Talking about the
Yeah, for
vacation
sure.
and remembering all the things that you did and looking through the pictures, and so I love that part. That can be, I'm not going to say a date night on its own, but like what they, talking about and reliving a moment is actually bringing you back to that moment.
Yeah, and let's qualify this too because you reference money. I mean, this is not about being bougie. It's not about something. It's if it's a one night. I mean, we did that for our little honeymoon getaway here recently. Is our anniversary getaway? It was that one night, right?
Yeah.
Fond memories, though.
Yeah.
Fond memories.
And for those that have, younger kids, I mean, if you can have a grandparent take them for one night and you even create a romantic dinner at home and dance in your kitchen
Staycation. Do
or
a
whatever,
staycation. Take 'em
like,
out, have some. I mean, forcefully create that opportunity
Yeah.
because you're not going to hurt anybody's feelings. Those kids need to see you in love.
yeah.
That's a big
Yeah.
part of it. And so
That's true.
your person is different when they come back, just so you know. Those moments let you relax.
Right.
So
Right. And so that's super important. So in this little article, research that I did, it says make a list of 10 things your spouse loves to do. Each new time you take your spouse on a date, do one of those 10 things. So that's kind of cool. Like, what if both people made a list and you're like, okay, these are things I want to do. These are things you want to do. So this time we're going to do one thing that I like to
I
do.
learned that recently. Who was that? That someone in our sphere was talking about that with their kids the same way as when they go out on a trip.
Yeah. So I think that that's fun because it is very true. We don't all like the same things.
Yeah, and I
Right.
think I was just thinking that is that
Yeah.
we're blessed to that. We're probably a 90%er in terms
Yep.
of the things we enjoy together. So that's maybe a high number, but
But like for
advantage
me,
of that.
don't take me to a scary movie. Like that's not anything that I would ever want to do, period. I don't like that. You don't either, luckily,
No.
for the most part. But
Like a shoot 'em up movie though, that'd be good. But
yeah, I mean, I could tolerate that, but it's not. So like if that was on your list, I'd be like, okay, we'll go to a shoot 'em up movie and I will be bored for 2 hours, but it'll be fine because
taking
I'm
me
doing
to a
it for
good
you.
dinner, right?
Yeah. I would do it for you.
yeah, took a bullet.
Right, exactly. So then this one says, the next one is take up a new hobby together. Actually, that's kind of cool. Like,
We haven't really attempted that.
no.
I mean, everything we do is a new hobby. It seems like it sometimes turns into a career, but in this case,
Most of the time. But like taking up golf together.
yeah, we've talked about that.
Go take a dance class together. We've
talked
talked about that
about
too.
that, yeah,
You know, I think we talked about ballroom dancing one time, which
Yep.
would be so fun, or like swing dancing, or fun.
Pick a topic, right? I mean,
Right.
pick a
Yeah.
activity. It
Yeah.
could be bowling. It could be
Yeah.
fishing. It could be. I mean, there's some couples, great examples we've met over the years.
Yeah.
That are. I mean, the wife is an avid fisherman, and so is the husband. They love to do that together. I'm like, all right.
Nice. Yeah. So, that's cool. I knew this couple and they loved going to concerts.
Oh yeah.
Just loved going to concerts. So they would drive to San Jose, to LA, to wherever to go to concerts.
Yeah.
And that was their
Our
thing.
new friends, Chris and
Jody.
Jody. Yeah, they that's kind of their
They love
vibe.
that.
Man, they're concert goers. I mean,
Yeah.
they travel to it, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I love that. I mean, if we had more time, maybe we could take up a hobby together.
Right. Well, it'll come.
This one is interesting to me. Do something with your spouse that you are both scared to do. Interesting, right? Okay, so what could that be? Jump out of a
Well-
plane? Okay, I'm scared to do that. I don't want to do
Yeah,
that.
but
No.
we're not thrill seekers. Well, I can be. I think the part is really what that looks like, because I've had you in a fast car, and that's never been good to pull the nails out of my leg when you're. But I think yeah, that's actually a cool idea.
Interesting. Scared to do.
I mean, I think our biggest thrill was that ropes course we did down in Mexico. Remember that deal?
That was awesome.
And
I
it wasn't
did.
nothing
Yeah,
we were really afraid of, but it
No.
was intense.
it was.
And both
that
of
was
us
so cool.
together came away like, wow. That
Well-
was because it was obviously not a United States version of a ropes course, which is a
And there was a
safety
little so we're in Mexico on a cruise and we do this excursion, which wasn't even through the boat.
it
it
was
was
a
like we
random bus
found it
in
on
Mexico.
the
It's one of
street
those
while we were
movies,
getting a margarita or something. I don't know how safe that was, but anyways, we go to this place, which was really this big park,
huge
and
park kind of thing.
we were like, okay, we're gonna go ziplining. Well, I mean, when a 3-year-old is doing it, you're like, okay, well, I guess I better buck up and do this because
Right.
3-year-old literally on the same course as me.
Yeah. Well,
That was
and
so
that's-
crazy.
and so those are good. That's a neat example. I mean,
Yeah.
too many things you could create create fear, hopefully, but
I actually, we both really do love ziplining. We've gone a
Yeah,
few times.
love
We even took
for sure.
Bella and her friend one time, and but okay, I like it. All right. And then next it says set a weekly date night. Each week rotate going out and staying in. I think it is so hard to get away every week. Now, is that an excuse? I mean,
But
I don't know.
Couldn't you do the same thing you're doing with your vacation and just plan it, saying, "Hey, next
Yeah.
Thursday's the day."
yeah,
You have something to look forward to work into,
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, you have to create it. You have
Yeah.
to work toward it. You have to be, and then those are things like,
yeah. And so we were talking to our friends the other day, and they were saying, gosh, it's been so long since we've had a date night. They are usually really good about it, Jim and Heather. And he said, I mean, we've gone out with other couples, but not like just her and I, right? And I thought actually that was very insightful because he's saying, it's great. It's really fun to go out on dates with other couples, and that's a cool vibe. But like, I want to connect with my wife on a one-on-one, and so I love them. They have been married 25 years. Okay, and he is still concerned about dating his wife, which is why they probably have been married for over 25 years.
yeah, he does a good job with it.
And so that was really cool. I actually really thought that was great because I do think sometimes it's important to go out with other couples and you learn things from other people. It's a whole different kind of connection.
But I still say to all this is that you have to find your way to remember it.
Yeah.
Like, those steps remind you that you're in love.
Yeah.
Remind you why you're there now.
True.
I mean, because we're 7 years-ish into a relationship, which seems like we've been here for 25 years, but in the positive tone. But at the same time, you see Jim and Heather and some other great examples in our friendships groups that they have to remind themselves,
Right.
and you have to work that. It's like you got to put it in your little brain to put that in your heart. So
Yeah.
because it just
I
keeps flicking
they're
the
such a great
flip.
example. I love it.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I've noticed, and we have several friends that they're very, very flirty with each other.
Yeah.
And that's so fun. I love to see that in couples where you're, I mean, I'm thinking about Tom and he's, Rue's walking towards him. He's like, oh, she's so cute, isn't she? Like, they've been together since high school. Like,
Yeah. Literally since high
adorable.
school.
I just like I love to see that, and I think flirting is such a huge part of a relationship, and a lot of times after you get married, that stops.
Yeah.
So here's your reminder: flirt with your spouse.
Well, and you know this because I actually put it in words almost every fifth time, I think, is that when I stop to kiss you, I kiss you intentionally.
Yes.
And I stop and I lean in, as I say. The part is, it's done in my mind to remember to embrace who this sweet woman that I've married, right? And to take that in. And I've had to implant that to help me make sure that I share that with you.
Yeah.
And so I don't think everybody has that in them. I think that's the other really tough spot. But if you guys are watching this, try it. Just do something that is out of sorts.
Yes.
You two came together, man or woman, man, I don't care, whatever your relationship profile is, and do it with intention.
Yes.
walk with intention, as our daughters quickly learned. Bella's, my bonus daughter, got a new job this summer, and she was hired on. One of the coworkers told her, Bella, walk with intention, right? And she's like, by the end of the season, she's telling people to walk with intention. So the part
Yeah.
is, it's the same thing in our relationship, right? You have to have intention.
Right. That is a whole different topic, but I really was proud of her when she came back
At the end there,
at the end and was like, "Wow, now I get what he was saying."
Yeah.
You know, so it is true. Be intentional.
yeah,
Be intentional.
yeah, and I think everybody gets a chance at relationships at some time in their life, and hopefully you get to hold on to them. If it's a marriage, if it's a friendship, and whatever. And to be honest with you, that's a constant challenge because of my busy little brain and my squirrels and my body, that to stop and
Yes.
try to like take that effort. So,
Yep.
like I said, Till Dirt is going to create that opportunity for me because
Right.
I'm going to show you.
And thank God we have a vacation planned in November.
Yes, yes, for sure.
Okay, so what's next on this list? I love it. Assign a day of bed rest to your spouse. This one says wife, but make her take a day to rest, relax, and not accomplish anything productive. So we are not good at this.
Oof,
We
the
are
world's worst, to be honest
definitely
with you.
not good at this.
Yeah, and that's probably why our vacations come in because we
yes.
take longer ones because we've had to stack it all up in a pile.
And honestly, like if we don't get away, we will not rest. So
Correct.
very, very, very bad at this topic. but that it is important, and I actually really like that it says rest
Jimmy Heaven
together.
do a good job of that. And once again, our close friends, they talk about laying around in bed for the day. And Mike and Chris, same thing. They talk about the same thing. It is funny, and it's not something I very actually even. I desire it. I actually am not a lazy person, or I can't sit still, and neither can you
Great.
for that matter. And so,
We're gonna put that on the work on this list.
right. Well,
Where's my
57,
pen? I
yeah,
need to make a note.
58, and here it goes. I'm not sure it's going to change yet, but it is a really nice thing to do.
Yeah, for sure. And then this is actually such a good one. And again, we need to be better at this. Exercise with your wife. Sweat together. Is what
Yeah,
this says. we
first
do.
number of years of our marriage, we did work out pretty
know,
regularly together.
we
That was
did.
like, we actually love that part. I
And
think
even-
it's sexy personally. I think
Yeah, but even living in this neighborhood that we live in, beautiful walking paths, and
that's
you
part
know,
of what we
life
do for
is
sure.
so busy. So unless we get up at 5:30 in the morning, it keeps
6,
getting earlier,
5 o'clock.
5 in the morning. I don't know. And so.
I got to stand further away from the mirror every year, so I'm trying to it takes longer to get going.
Well, and so again, the fray of life.
Yeah.
So
You create your own storm, for sure.
Constantly, Bella is late to bed, and I'm trying to make sure she's in bed before we go. Blah blah blah, all the excuses. This is another one. Where's my pen? I need to star that.
Yeah.
Exercise together. That's and they talk about exercise, whoever they are, they talk about exercise as being so good for your brain. And so that is something that we try to fit in, but not as regularly as we should.
Well, we have some dear neighbors that literally right next door that have been married
Oh, I love them.
40,
No,
50 years.
probably.
Amazing people. Mom and Dad 2.0. Both of them walk together at least twice a day,
All the time.
and they do it together. Very rarely they'll do it apart.
Yeah, when I
Unless the
see
dog just has to go. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's
Dot
see
out
it.
walking by herself, I'm like,
something's wrong.
where's Chris? Yeah.
Right.
But no, and what a time to connect.
Yeah. for
Right?
Sure. And they do.
They do.
To this day, they're very connected to that piece. so
Yeah.
I can see that.
They're such a great example too of
Wonderful example.
wonderful marriage.
Long-term relationships
Yeah.
and the health in that.
And I actually really love this show because it's making us really stop and think about people that are really good examples to us.
And
And
we focus on that. That's an
Yeah.
intention. You're
Yeah.
you're the best at that. You admire
I do.
more even than I even recognize sometimes. So those are great examples out there. And the people that don't, I mean, like 6 years or 7 years is not a lifetime.
No.
But if it feels like that was said with love, I think that tells me that we're in the right spot.
Well, and we're focused on making it
Yeah.
together and
Making
making
it
it
together.
good.
Yep.
Not just making it good.
Making it good.
They're different.
It's our choice.
Yeah.
Which way you going to go?
They're different. Okay. We already talked about this. Dance with your spouse.
Yeah.
Use your living room, your backyard, or go to a club. Are there clubs anymore? Oh, anyways.
At least not. Well,
This was written this year, but I don't know where where they are. But no, I love the dance thing. I love that. I just think it is such a great way.
it's a slow dance. I'm good with it. You're not going to see me break a move anytime.
Okay. Okay. So for people who are like, look, we are struggling financially. How are we supposed to go out on a date every week or every month or whatever?
Find a porch and dance.
Find a porch and dance. Love that.
Right?
Absolutely.
Find that spot.
Picnic.
It doesn't matter.
Yes. But this,
Staycations can be fun if you plan it, right?
yes.
Stop to really do with it.
Go out in the
Somebody in the
backyard.
household cooks. Make a nice dinner.
Make a sandwich. I don't care.
Have a great soda or a
Yeah.
bottle of wine, whatever your
Yeah.
fare is, and just stop.
Go out in the backyard and after dark and watch the stars.
Yeah,
You know,
oh, that's a good one. I like that.
yeah. But this says search online for free date ideas, concerts in the park, jazz nights, or local clubs or whatever. So I agree. There's you can go on and search for free things that happen, and just go.
Yeah.
Again, clearly, we love my parents. They are amazing.
Yeah, they're
But
great example.
they were traveling recently on this trip in their motorhome, and where they were staying, they could hear the cattle auction.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And they just decided they were going to go. They were going to go and sit at
Not
the
sure
cattle.
that's romantic, but we'll work with this.
But it's a free thing that they did that was
Together, yeah.
cute and fun. I mean, and at their age, they're retired and, searching for fun things that they can do together.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was cute. Now, we do not have
And they
time.
didn't come home with a cow
They
or a
did
steer or
not.
whatever you're supposed to be buying at that auction.
They said they both sat on their hands. They were not about to scratch their ear and come home with a cow. So there is that. So, anyways, okay, this one was fun, and I don't know that we could do this because this may lead to bad things for us. Enter a contest or competition with your wife. Now, as long as it's not against each other, because we're both very competitive.
Yeah.
Possibly me more so than you. I don't know.
I'm more strategic than you. You're straight out, I'm going to get you. So
A pie baking competition, a dance contest. This does say do something with your wife where you compete against others. And I was going to say not against each other. Yeah, that would be cute. That's fun.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
I'm not sure we would create that opportunity, but yeah, that would be a fun one.
Yeah. Where
You're the
could we
baker,
do that?
I'm the cook. Yeah, on the other side.
But how fun. Like you go somewhere and they have a 3-legged race contest or, whatever. You do that together and it kind of, I like it.
Okay.
But I am the competitive one. I've often said, right or wrong, when my kids were little and we were playing Candyland or Sorry or Uno or
Take
any,
those kids to therapy at some point about that because they're still dealing with all that. It may be physical therapy because the tackle
any
football
of the
training.
things. If you win honestly. If you lose honestly. I'm not cutting you any slack.
life, man.
You're going to learn how to lose. You're going to learn how to win.
Right.
Okay.
True that.
I don't know if that makes me a good mom or a bad mom, but there was no slack.
Yep.
So that's how I feel about life. If I'm entering a contest, I'm entering it to win.
And they've both learned in this scenario, just to reference that, is that they've learned to be strategic in their games. They also learned that it's not going to be physical against mom because mom can still win. She's don't make me still applies. But boy, in a game, it's fun to watch both of them. You can see them, and they're both.
Yep. But I like this. We need to find something to enter and win.
Okay, I'm going to put that one on you.
Where's my pen? And then this, I feel like this is like basic 101 of relationships. If you're not doing this, you need to go back and reset. It says mark your wife's birthday, your anniversary, Mother's Day on the calendar and plan something special for those days. If you don't remember your spouse's birthday,
Yeah, but you might be surprised. I mean, I think there's, and guys especially, I'll use that as a reference point, that guys are the worst in a lot of cases.
tattoo it on your forehead. I don't care.
Well, I'm not saying Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. That one is like 101. Yeah. Make dinner for your wife.
Love that.
You do that all the time. And so many more men are cooking, which I love.
Well, we've transferred hobbies in a lot of cases in our
Yeah.
world, so and food's become definitely a part of that.
Right. And so I love that. Write love notes. We've talked about this. I think that that's important in relationships,
Yeah,
period.
yeah.
I
And
mean, yesterday,
I'll even text you from time to time, right?
yes,
It's just as
yeah,
simple. Yeah, I mean, we're in the same room, and sometimes I just have that pop in that moment that
yeah.
it's like, I got to tell her.
You get your haircut and you send me a picture and you look good. Yeah.
Feeling,
Yeah. I love it. And I think that is important in a lot of relationships. Yesterday, I was thinking about my son, and he's away in Arizona at school, and he's just doing such a great job. And I just sent him a quick text and said, Happy Friday. I want you to know how proud I am of you. I love you so much, and I cannot wait to see all the great things you continue to do. Like, just, and he's like, Thanks, Mom. I really appreciate that. You know, I just feel like we forget sometimes to tell people how good they are.
everybody, I'm going to tell you something. 7 years of marriage with this girl. If anything she's taught me, I've told her this a million times, you make me better. And I'm going to tell you, when I say that, it also applies to the rest of my world. That I consciously, if I'm driving to work in the morning or I'm on the road with somebody, I'll drop back up, not while driving.
I was going to say, don't
gonna
make
hear
me
this.
lecture you.
I'll send somebody a text and say, hey,
Luckily,
hope-
with voice
hope things-
text now.
Yeah, hope things are great, man. Go have a great day. I miss you. Things are going well. It could be a customer, friend. Just grab somebody, touch somebody.
Yeah.
That is relationship driven, right? That is what I feel, and it's wonderful to see the response of that. A happy birthday to someone that
Yeah.
you're friends with. Your reminder comes up on Facebook or something, but that extra effort, like, raises people's eyebrows. Your significant other should be the center of that.
Yes.
So
I just think little things like that are
the little things.
important.
Right.
You know, the notes, the text, the reminders. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the little things all
Right.
the time.
Right.
So, spend an evening stargazing. Like, so in the winter, we actually are better at this because of the hot tub.
Right.
So we'll go out in the hot tub and
We're really lucky
beautiful.
to have that spot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's a fun, it's like a nice place to just unwind. And then you just look up and think about how big the world is. I don't know.
Together.
Yeah,
Not just think about yourself. That's
Yeah.
the part is how that looks. I mean,
it's pretty cool.
yeah.
And I don't know, I'm still all about wishing on the stars. So if we're lucky enough to see a falling star, shooting star, wait, make a wish, make a wish.
Yeah. Traditionalist to the bone.
Yeah. Serve your wife or husband breakfast in bed. That, my kids, when they were little, used to serve me breakfast in bed on my birthday all the time, which obviously I taught them to do. But I love that. Like, I feel that that is a sweet thing. Breakfast in bed is tough because usually we don't even eat breakfast until a little bit later. But the one thing that I do appreciate that you do every morning for me is bring me coffee.
On the road, I'll go out to Starbucks and bring coffee back just to have it on our nightstand.
Yeah.
It's been a personal thing to commit to you for years because I feel like those first waning moments when you wake up is set your day.
Yes.
And if it's a loving attempt to say, I want it to go good, and this is one of your favorite things ever,
Yes.
I hope it applies.
I do. I love that. I mean, most of the time we're, I'm waking up and I see you get out of bed, but there have been times where literally like I roll over and the coffee just magically appeared there and I'm like, "Oh, you've already been up and gone downstairs. It's not even like we're on the same floor. Gone downstairs, got the coffee and brought it up to me." And that is to me a sign of affection. I appreciate that every day.
That's awesome.
I love that.
That's what the point is for sure.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, what else? Oh, hold your wife's hand often and in public and in private.
Yeah. That thing is hard for some people.
It is.
PDA, as they say, we don't have a problem with it. We do what we do and we hold hands constantly. Once again, it's just what we are. But if it's not in your box, try it.
Right.
it's a nonverbal action, but I'm going to
is.
tell you, just put your hand in their hand. In those moments that there's an opportunity that makes sense, just walking across the street. Some people, I mean, we've got friends that are the close friends that they don't. And it's obvious, right? And I'm sure their relationship is healthy in a
Yeah.
lot of ways, but
Not everybody's the same.
no,
All these
no, I
things
think
don't
these
work
are
for everybody,
reference points,
right?
right? But
Yeah.
I think these points and all this is to bring us back to the idea of relationship and loving someone and husband, wife, whatever your scenario is that to stop and make those efforts,
Right.
right? And that's what we hope for.
Right. And because I feel that when you do all these things and then you do get in an argument, you do, life is, it's going to happen, that it's easier to come back to each other because you have all these things that are drawing you together, right? You're close. And so it's
the magnet's still there.
the 5 to 10% that's a little rough, that can be frustrating. And so when,
To 10%. On certain days, yes.
there are days, most days, no, there are days that 10% kind of, but it's okay.
Back to being hard-headed and competitive. But that's one thing, you're the best in our relationship is you come to me, and I try to go to you too. And I say I try because my hard-headedness is sometimes comes from a different vantage point, I think sometimes.
I don't know. I think we're both pretty hard-headed. We're lucky that we love each other so much.
But we've gotten better at that because we don't fight
No.
much, but when it does happen, and like it's just, we use the word "hey," right?
Yeah.
Like we both get to a moment where, like, one of us will say "hey," and we say "hey" back, and we respond to "I love you,"
Yeah.
or we'll walk over and give each other a hug, or we'll
Yeah.
do something and say, "Okay, this is it."
Yeah.
Like it's over. If we have to re-engage on it,
Yeah.
part of it later, we do a lot of times.
Yeah.
It helps us work through it. It's that stopping point.
Yeah. I think that we talked about this in a previous pod with kids, but I think that this so applies to relationships too, that sometimes in the heat of the moment, we're digressing off of date night here, but this is
No, but
important.
It's
This is
a
important.
building block for all of it, I think.
I think in the heat of the moment when you're like frustrated with each other and you're not on the same page, that often if you can just take a break and come back to it, whether it's like the next day or whatever, like it doesn't seem so big. You're able to actually talk through it. But in the moment, feelings are so passionate that I am right, I am right, I am right, I am right. And that it can just go into something that it never
always
was,
does.
right?
It
I
always
mean,
does,
and it's
yeah.
so stupid. So I feel like I've learned, took me a long, long time to learn this, but that if I just take a break, like I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm done.
But I want to talk about it.
We're not talking about it. Not talking about it. And then that helps.
Yeah.
That helps.
Well,
so
innately, every relationship's different with that too. And so when we talk about dating somebody, that's also another opportunity at that moment to completely take it to a right turn
yeah,
and say, tomorrow night, let's go out to dinner.
yeah,
What's that from? Well, let's just go be us.
right,
Take it to a dogleg right, take it to a dogleg left, and try to remember what brought you there.
yeah.
And that's the sweet spot of dating and having that
Dating your
girlfriend or that
spouse.
boyfriend. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, all right. This I feel like is a good one. Notice when your spouse is particularly tired, drained, and stressed out. On such days, step in and take 1 or 2 responsibilities off of their plate.
I think that's
That's so big.
it is, and that's
So
I think
big.
in today's world with the stressors are no less. I mean, we were standing amongst a group of friends last night, and I was talking to a few of them, and every one of us are tired.
Right.
You could tell the
Yeah.
tone of the room. I mean, this is a group of people that I use the word can party, but that love to be together. Like,
Yeah.
we've got a really great circle of friends.
Yeah.
And everybody was tired. And I thought
Right.
to myself, we still fight to be together, but we also too should be home resting right now.
Right.
Right. And so that rest, then how does that look like? It's like, no, I got dinner tonight, or
Yes.
go do you, and I got this. Whatever it fits right. But
Right.
that is a big thing, and I think that's a value statement. I'm the worst for letting go of it.
Right.
I'm the
You
guy
are.
that wants to fight through. I got this because I own what we do in our relationship.
Right.
I got dinner. And just okay. I got it. But
Right.
sometimes I should let
Right.
lay back, and that is a
Absolutely.
sweet spot for a relationship.
You have to notice. Yep. Revisit the scene of your wedding and then go drink some champagne or eat some cake. That's so cute.
Oh, I would love
Yeah.
that. To be honest with you,
I love
could
that.
almost do that every year on our anniversary. I'd be a tickled guy because we had an amazing marriage,
Yeah.
and wedding, and
We need to watch our
small
wedding
baby.
video too. That's
Ooh,
a
that'd be a
good
good
one.
one.
That's
That'd be
add
a
that
good
to the list.
refresh. Yeah.
Seriously though, they say that you should do that all the time.
You told me about a friend that had every year sits down with their husband at their anniversary and asks, "What can I do better, and how can I be?"
Yes.
Isn't that also an action of dating? Isn't that an action of love? I mean, I
Actually,
think
it is
that's
on
really
this
cool.
list.
Is it really?
Of asking, and we do that.
We do that.
Sometimes. We probably should do that more, but we have done that periodically, and that is important. And I think if you ask the question,
Be prepared for the answer.
be prepared for the answer. Don't ask the question. Be like, okay, so is there anything we could do better? Thinking that the person's going to be like, you're perfect. No one's perfect.
Hey, I just thought of something. I'm going to dogleg on this one.
Uh-oh.
Buy flowers for your wife.
Oh, I know. Fresh flowers.
Those are flowers, candy, sweets. It's cliche as heck.
Don't buy the candy for the person who doesn't want the candy.
Oh yeah, you want the candy. Don't get.
Who doesn't need the candy?
Yeah, but
Yes,
that's another one of those little flares. Sorry, had to dogleg on that one because it popped in my head. But
Yes.
I'll tell you, that's big.
the flowers. I love fresh flowers. You do that
Facilitate.
often. And I just love having fresh flowers in the house. I feel like that's fun to come home to. And yeah, that is a good one. But going back to
Sorry.
check in with each other. Is there anything that I can do different? That's a great question. I'm not going to ask you that while we are filming because I maybe don't want all that out in the universe. But we should definitely do that.
90% of the time, you're good.
Exactly. Okay. I got some work to do.
Yeah.
All right.
You need to, though, right? We need that offset percentage to keep yourself honest. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that's what all this is about. Is
Right.
having fun and remembering what fun looked like. I mean,
Right.
there are great ways to remember where you started in these your relationships.
And it is true. You fell in love with someone for a reason. And it is easy to get lost. We know this.
Wait a minute, you didn't marry me just so I did the dishes and I scrubbed the floors?
Well, you do that well too. But I think people do lose sight of that. Kids can cause you to go off track. Life can cause you. Maybe you don't even have kids, and it causes you just life, the fray,
You
the
get
whatever.
lazy.
Yeah.
Some people just fall
Complacent.
into a rut. It's easy to get there, right?
Yeah.
That's a big one.
So I don't know. I think it is good to be reminded. I think it's also good to tell your spouse, and this is not on the list, but I just thought about it, the things they do right.
Oh.
Not just, hey, what can I work on? And it's like, oh, this is a time to, I mean, not pick on each other, but there's so many things that you could acknowledge that someone's doing right.
Well, and for you, it's not about how they make the bed in the morning. Right?
Yes.
It's like,
yes.
I really appreciate you do this because it makes me feel, period, ...
Yeah. Yeah, true.
I mean, I actually have tried to do that with you. I say, hey, I want you to recognize this. I really appreciate you do this. And you do the same.
Yeah. You're
and-
really good at that.
Well, I'm not saying I'm good at it, but I try. I mean, I've grasped those things. And I think that when you get an extra chance to find the right person and as we say, finish till dirt, that's what's going to take us there,
Right.
you know.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you can think of?
Oh, we could probably go on for another hour because this is oddly enough, I'm an old school romantic and I love the thoughts of this stuff. And it's taken me to me 57 to really enjoy it, and probably even more because you look back at things that you wish you'd done when you're younger.
Yes.
Or had the opportunity with this person, and you especially,
Yeah.
this person, is that you just got to pull it up. And it doesn't matter how I get there. It's if you see someone else doing something, you're like, man, I should do that. Or if it's a song
Yeah.
or a picture or whatever it is that triggers you. I mean, there's a million ways to bring it to the forefront, but
Right.
try it. Don't be afraid to try it. They talk about the love language saying, I've never read the book. I hate to read books because I fall asleep. Audiobooks are good. But the thing about it is that I know the topics and I know it's right, is that everybody's got a little different way they like it.
They do.
And it's how it's going to be served up. But if you've been with them that long, you know how to serve it up. And if you don't, pay attention
Yeah.
and find out.
And I think don't be afraid to be vulnerable with
Oh,
your spouse because that's how you connect, right?
that
And
vulnerability is tough as a man to get to sometimes, right?
Right.
Because we are supposed to be hard-shelled, and especially for my upbringing. I mean, I've been in the car business all these years. I mean, you're a lieutenant in the system, and that's
Right.
it is. So you got to let your guard down.
Right.
It's tough.
yes, and life is going to throw curveballs. I mean,
Catch 'em
we
together.
we say all the time when there's hard things, we always say, let's hold
Hold
hands
hands.
and get through it,
Yeah,
you know? And
and you can tell when that a person's struggling.
yeah,
That is dating somebody. That is because when you started that that relationship, marriage, dating, whatever, you did pay attention to those details.
right,
There's a 95% chance you were paying attention to that person's
right,
emotions and feelings. And so that's the part we try to close back up, right?
right.
Every day.
Yeah. And I love this topic. This has been a good reminder for us.
Yep, for
I
sure.
wish I'd brought my pen so I could have made some notes on things we could do better.
I thought I was a 3%er. I'm putting I'm a 10%er, so I got to work on it.
No, just like, I mean,
yeah, I
how
get it.
great
Trust me.
to be able to say, "Hey, we should do this
Yeah.
next,"
Oh,
or
absolutely.
whatever.
Yeah.
I love this, and so what I have found when we decided we were going to do this podcast, that we wanted to talk about the journey to success.
Yeah.
And that journey is not always a straight shot there, right? It's ups, downs, and resorting to success. You eventually get there.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole take on this, and to remind people of that. This is why we're here. This is not about how great we are. It's not about,
No.
but it's also the intentions are we're going to have guests on this show. We're going to have interpersonal conversation between each other, and just have topics that really hope to give you some light to where
Right.
there's a better choice or there is a choice that's going to take you to a good spot.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say is that the thing that I didn't realize about us taking this on, I thought, oh, this is gonna be great to be able to inspire others. But what I have found for me, man, it's been so inspiring for me.
Oh yeah,
I mean, even this conversation talking about dating your girlfriend, wife, there are things we can do better.
Yeah.
And when we've had guests on, I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are inspiring me to be better. So if anybody could get anything out of what we're doing, honestly, it is just meant to inspire others. And there's so many really, really incredible people out there that we can
Amazing.
take from.
Yep.
So,
Got a lot of ones coming up in the near future. We've done some interviews with just
Yep.
wow.
Yep.
So thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening. I think we got this one in the bag.
go out and date your spouse.
Yeah, keep dating.